Last year I was on my gap year from high school, which was also actually my first year of living out of home. I was lucky enough to be able to work throughout most of the year, but it was pretty upsetting not being able to tick off some bucket list items that I had for my gap year, like traveling and various other kinds of plans that we all had. COVID was hard for everyone, but it was particularly weird going through lockdowns during what was a very transformational period in my life. One thing that was completely essential for me during COVID and during the lockdowns was having the opportunities to be able to see my friends and do normal things that we took for granted, getting a coffee or going for a walk. It was strange how these things soon became so incredibly important to us to be able to survive. I'm grateful to have not faced too many hardships during COVID, but it is pretty sad that I feel I lost a year of my young adulthood to the virus. A gap year to me was meant to be a year for me to travel and experience things and make new friends and see the world and do everything that I hadn't been able to do while I was in school. Didn't turn out to be like that at all. There were a lot of occasions, particularly at the end of high school and throughout my gap year last year, where I would sit in my room and I'd think to myself, how is this fair? We've been dealt these cards at the worst time in my life, at the most transformational period I've had so far. I, like many other kids, didn't get a graduation. I didn't get to do a lot of the final year 12 moments that you usually get. That stuff doesn't really matter in the end, but it would have been nice to celebrate the end of a massive part of my life, and I'm sure many other people who graduated in the past few years feel the same. In this week's group mini doc exercise, I learnt the importance of shooting more than enough footage for your piece, and to make sure you do a few extra takes because I really struggled to put it together with the small amount of footage that we had, and I wish that we'd redone some things here and there. I also learned to ditch the "I'll fix it in the edit" mindset because it never works. In-camera transitions play a huge part in achieving a smooth sequence, and not everything can be fixed in the edit. In the essential non-essential exercise, I learned the importance of B-roll footage in terms of giving context and engaging an audience. Especially when using a voiceover, if the B-roll doesn't correspond with whatever the speaker's talking about, it's just not going to make sense and the audience is going to get confused. So I learned that this plays a big role in creating a cohesive sequence in documentary filmmaking. In this week's reading from Cal Newport, we were introduced to the craftsman's mindset, which is essentially the idea that we should be focusing on what we can offer the world through our work rather than what the world can offer us. Newport quotes that the craftsman's mindset asks you to leave behind self-centered concerns about whether your job is just right, and instead put your head down and plug away at getting really damn good. I think that this point contradicts itself because personally I really need to be passionate about a piece or something that I'm working on in order to do well at it, and I really struggle if it's something that I'm not interested or passionate about. However, I can appreciate the mindset that Newport is proposing. I want to apply this mindset to these weekly vlogs and use them as a way of tracking my development throughout the course. When we first started these vlogs, I honestly wasn't super keen on the idea of doing them weekly, but I can appreciate that they're a way of visually recounting our progression as media students. Instead of worrying about what these vlogs can offer me, I should be thinking and focusing about what I can do with them. And that's the craftsman's mindset.